The most valuable internet businesses are not exciting. They are boring. Painfully, obviously boring. And that is exactly why almost no one builds them. While the world chased crypto launches, AI hype, and the next loud thing, one quiet immigrant founder spent 8 silent years building a tool that does only one thing. Let 2 people pick a meeting time without sending 12 emails. That tool is now worth around $3 billion. But before that fortune, he failed 3 separate times in a row. He lost his life savings. He almost gave up. And his story will completely change how you think about which ideas are actually worth building. This is the story of Tope Awotona, and the framework hidden inside it that I call the tiny door. Lagos, Nigeria. A 12-year-old boy is sitting in the back of his family car when armed men force the vehicle to stop. In the violence that follows, his father is killed in front of him. The boy survives. His name is Tope. A few years later, his mother makes a decision millions of African mothers make for their children. She sends him to America. He arrives with almost nothing. No money, no network, no roadmap. Just one quiet belief his father had planted in him before the carjacking. That ordinary people, if patient enough, could build extraordinary things. In his 20s, Tope works a corporate sales job in Atlanta, paying off student loans. But every night he stays up late reading about startups. He wants out of the salary cage. He wants to build something of his own. So he tries. His first business is selling gardening equipment online. It dies. Quiet. No customers. His second business is a dating site. It dies. Painful. Almost no users. His third business is a project management tool. It dies. And this one takes his savings with it. 3 businesses. 3 failures. 3 different industries. Most people would stop right there. Most people do. But Tope notices something the average aspiring founder never notices. All 3 of his failed businesses had one thing in common. He had picked them because they sounded exciting. Not because he personally suffered from the problem they solved. He chose ideas he thought would impress other people. And every single one of them collapsed. So he sits down and asks himself a different question. Not what is exciting, not what is trending, not what looks impressive on Twitter. He asks, what is the most annoying, repetitive, embarrassingly small problem I personally face every single week of my life? The answer was almost too boring to say out loud. He hated scheduling meetings. The back and forth. The, are you free Tuesday at 3? No, how about Wednesday at 4? Wait, is that your time zone or mine? The endless ping-pong of calendars. It was such a tiny problem that no investor in Silicon Valley wanted to touch it. Several told him directly, this is not a real company. This is a feature. This is too small. This is too obvious. He builds it anyway. He uses the last of his savings to hire developers in Ukraine and Eastern Europe to build a clean, simple version. He launches it in 2013 with almost no marketing. He calls it Calendly. Now here is the part nobody talks about. The part your brain needs to understand if you ever want to build anything that matters. For the first several years, almost nothing happens. The numbers grow slowly. Painfully slowly. He is still paying off debt. He is still being told it is a feature, not a company. He is sitting in the silence of a boring idea. This is the silence that kills almost every founder. Not failure. Not lack of talent. The silence of waiting. And there is a specific reason most human beings cannot sit in that silence. And it lives in a small region of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the part of you that can delay gratification. It is the part that can resist the loud short-term reward in order to win the quiet long-term one. It does not finish maturing until your mid-20s, and in most adults, it stays underused for the rest of their lives. Every time you abandon a project after 3 months because nothing is happening, that is not laziness. That is your prefrontal cortex losing a fight against an older, louder region of your brain that wants the dopamine hit right now. The poor and the rich do not differ in intelligence. They differ in how long they can sit in the silence between the planting and the harvest. Tope sat in that silence for 8 years. And then the boring tool went vertical. Companies adopted it. Then schools. Then sales teams. Then medical clinics. Then governments. By 2021, Calendly was valued at around $3 billion, and Tope Awotona, the boy from Lagos who lost his father at 12 and his savings 3 times in his 20s, was a billionaire. This is the tiny door framework. It has 3 keys, and I want you to memorize them. The first key is the personal sting. Do not build what sounds exciting. Build what personally annoys you every single week. If you do not feel the problem in your own life, you will not push through the silence long enough to solve it. The second key is the boring bet. The internet does not reward the loudest idea. It rewards the most repeated tiny utility. Scheduling a meeting, sending a payment, cropping a photo, booking a haircut. The unglamorous middle is where the empires live, because nobody else wants to sit there. The third key is the long bench. You must train your prefrontal cortex to sit in the empty room. The first month will be silent. The first year will be silent. The third year may still be silent. But underneath that silence, your tool is being tested, refined, and trusted by a small group of users who will eventually become the bridge to the millions. Boring outlasts exciting. Quiet outlasts loud. Useful outlasts impressive. Most people will hear this story and still go chase the loud, exciting, impressive idea that has no personal sting behind it. They will burn out at month 4. They will quit. They will tell themselves they were not cut out for it. You are different. You are still watching this. You already understand that the wealthiest internet operators of our generation are not the loud ones. They are the patient ones who picked a tiny door and refused to walk away from it. So here is your real question. Forget what is trending. Forget what looks impressive. What is the smallest, most annoying, most repetitive problem you personally face every single week that you are willing to sit beside in silence for the next 8 years? That problem is your tiny door, and almost no one else will be patient enough to walk through it. If this story moved you, do me 3 small favors. Hit the like button so the algorithm shows this to someone who needs it tonight. Share this video with one friend who is about to give up too early on something quiet they are building. And join my free Substack at the link in the description. One short, sharp lesson on wealth, focus, and AI delivered straight to your inbox every single day. Comment the word Substack below so I know to keep building this channel for you, and I promise you, by this time next year there will be 50,000 of us inside this community, learning what schools were never built to teach. The tiny door is in front of you. The only question is whether you are patient enough to walk through it.